You guys awake? Cool. Alright. I want to talk about something important here. Before I even get into the topic of this video, I want to address a few things. This is not politically charged. It doesn't matter if you are on the left or on the right. This is not what this video is about. This is not what a good majority of some of my videos are about, to be quite frank with you. And I'm not saying that to alienate anybody specifically, but it's just not something that I'm openly discussing on my channel. There's a reason why I keep politics out of most of things that I talk about, and that's because for the most part, I kind of stand fairly neutral. When it comes to the safety of minors, when it comes to protecting children, that's not really a political issue. That's just a general what people should do kind of issue. But there's something that I wanted to address to follow up the Cuties video that I released, which, by the way, I feel like I'm going to maybe take that video down, take another look at how I approached using some of the footage that was in there, and maybe re-upload that in its original form that I had created, because I'm really not satisfied with the version that I released. I didn't really care for it that much, and to be quite frank with you, I think the original piece that I made was significantly better. Now, whether or not you like the movie Cuties is neither here nor there. I think you all know my opinion at this point, and I think you know the opinion of the majority of people. If you're not on board with that, that's fine. However, I think the film itself could have been shot a lot differently, and the movie would have been significantly better. When I say that the movie is bad, I don't necessarily mean that the plot is terrible. It's not lost on me the story that's trying to be addressed there, but I do think that the shots that are presented to us that are zoomed in on young girls' pelvises and bellies, and zoomed in shots of them shaking their backsides, doesn't really send the message that you're attempting to try to send in the first place. You could have done that without doing those things, period. Today, we're going to be discussing Mrgirl. Now, I'm sure by this point a lot of you have probably already heard about the Mrgirl situation. It was something that I found out about, like most things, through Twitter, and I retweeted it because of statements that Mrgirl made in his video where he is advocating for the movie Cuties in a positive fashion. However, his opinion of the film is not really relevant to me, but what is relevant is some of the things that he says specifically about the film that I personally find disturbing. Now, upon talking to some other friends about this situation, it would seem that some people believe that this individual may just be an elaborate troll, and if that's the case, then bravo, you're doing a fantastic job of that. However, there are certain lines that shouldn't be crossed, even for edgy humor, and trust me, I'm not one of those types of people that believes in censorship or the eradication of free speech. A lot of times I think that we should be able to say whatever we want to say, as long as we are within certain boundaries. Some of the things that Mrgirl says in his video, in my personal opinion, could result in certain people knocking at his door. FBI, open up! So this video is not something that I typically do, but I have done in the past. I'm going to offer you my snap reactions to the things that Mrgirl says in his video, and address them and tackle them one by one. Now, in an effort to be entirely fair, I will address a couple of things right here and right now. In the later portions of the initial video that he releases, there are points that he does make that are valid. Hold on, don't go anywhere. I'm not talking about the sexualization of these young girls. Obviously, I'm against that. Obviously, I take issue with that. However, the points that he makes about the overall plot of the movie, and specifically what the movie is supposed to be versus what most of us perceive it to be, are kind of paralleled. Anyway, there's definitely disturbing things that he says, which is why I'm making this video and what I want to talk about today. So we're going to take a look at those things, and I'll issue my response.
Hi, Cuties. Guess what I just watched? So, if you're not familiar, Cuties is a film that Netflix just bought from director Maimouna Doucouré. She's a French woman, and she made this film that has sparked some controversy. Maybe not so much the film itself, but a poster that Netflix made to promote it.
I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there, because not only is it just the poster, it is also the film itself. There's a lot of things in that movie that have sparked a lot of controversy. Did Netflix market this in a specific way to maybe pander to a certain audience? Probably. It feels that way. There's still content within the movie, especially scenes and poses in those specific outfits that were put on that poster.
Now, people said that this was Netflix sexualizing children. Other people have said that the film itself is sexualizing children. That's basically akin to child pornography. and that it's, the pedophile left normalizing pedophilia as a legitimate sexual orientation. Hollywood did Pizzagate. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, and then other people are more just kind of more, I think, in my opinion, sanely saying it's exploitative. It's exploiting children. Even if you're making a movie that's about the exploitation of children, you could do it in a way that does not exploit children when you made it.
I subscribe to that mindset. I definitely think that it is to some degree a bit of exploitation. I think that it could have been shot more tastefully, specifically the dance scenes. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that is okay. It's mostly just that main issue of those up close shots that everybody has an issue with. And I feel like there's a lot more people that have concerns about that specifically, and how they're using, essentially what I'm trying to say is that they are exploiting children to speak out against exploitation, right? Like, that makes sense. They are exploiting these girls' bodies to make you uncomfortable. But I feel like that's already something that should naturally come to most adults without the need to shove it in your face, right? Everybody should be on board with that.
It's a solid film. It's a good movie. Definitely better than most movies.
If we're talking about from the perspective of the plot and how it drives, there's some things that could have been done better. I think the pacing was wrong. There were scenes that just didn't really make sense or felt like they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Specifically the bathroom scene, and then the shopping spree that happens prior to that. There are things that just feel like they're kind of out of place, especially the exorcism scene. That's another one that was just kind of felt like it was thrown in there for the sake of having it. You could tie that into their Muslim religion. I see that as a possibility, but at no point is it ever illustrated to us that what they're exactly trying to do. It's up to our perception. That's why I call it exorcism, because that's what it looks like to me.
Right off the bat, just first impressions regarding the controversy. This film does try to make you sexually aroused by 11-year-olds. And I'll say it's not bad at it. It's not a total failure in that regard, at least for me. Your mileage may vary.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Your mileage may vary? No. My mileage is going to stay at friggin' 0, dude. No way, no how. I don't even understand how anybody could think this. It's such a bizarre statement, and that's where there's concerns that maybe he's just doing this particular video to push buttons. Maybe this is just him trolling. But when you look at the rest of the stuff on his channel, it's almost as if this is really who this individual is. We'll get more into that later.
I want to say that if you are concerned about people treating this as child pornography, there are probably thousands of people masturbating to this film as we speak.
I'm starting to think that the elaborate troll thing is pretty accurate with that statement, because you didn't need to say that. This is the reason why people were advocating against this movie. This is the reason why people are calling this movie disgusting. This is the reason why people want this movie removed, is because of what you just said. And so now maybe you are trolling. I don't know.
Yeah, as far as like sexy music videos go, it's not bad. Oh, trigger warning. Honesty.
Okay, Onision.
I don't get the sense that the woman who made this film, I think she just doesn't pull her punches. I don't know if you've ever heard of the app TikTok. There's some pretty interesting stuff on there that, I've checked out, and I recommend you check it out. Girls of all ages are dancing like, and guys are dancing like this. Dances have become more explicitly sexual. But then, I listen to everybody saying these things, and I think we just sound the same as like old fogies did in the 50s and 60s.
See, but it feels like you're just using that. And I do agree, TikTok exists. There's all kinds of people of all ages on TikTok. There's no doubt about that, but that still doesn't make it okay. And that becomes an issue of parents monitoring what their children are doing on the internet. My kids are not on TikTok. I know a lot of parents who probably don't allow their kids on TikTok, specifically because of that purpose. It is a matter of having that awareness, and I don't want to say policing, but, or controlling even, but regulating the types of content that your children consume. And I feel like that's a point that the movie was trying to make, was that there was no true parental figure, and the one parental figure that was there the most was the most overbearing. So of course there's going to be some rebellion there. There's a balance to some degree, and no parent gets this right, but an attentive parent can kind of stem the bleeding, so to speak.
I'll have to watch it again and again and again.
I don't like how you said that.
I think that it does give you a lot to talk about and a lot to think about, and it doesn't exactly tell you where to land on how appropriate this dancing is.
It shouldn't really have to. In all honesty, your immediate reaction to this should be, this is not okay. This is disturbing. This is not right. This is inappropriate. These children shouldn't be doing this. There's no hidden meaning there.
How do we... Children are horny. Little girls are horny, and they want to express that.
What? What the fuck?
Even the girls themselves freak out about their own sexuality in a way where one of the girls finds a condom and is pretending... she thinks it's a balloon. She blows it up and is pretending it's her breast. And then the other girls realize that she's playing with a condom, and they say, it's going to give you AIDS, you're going to die. And then they start scrubbing her tongue with soap. And it's like, it's just a great metaphor for the way that kids want to be sexual and are all about it.
This is where I would have to argue the opposite of the point that you just made and say that I think this entire scene is meant to portray the immaturity of children and to illustrate that these are still children and their lack of understanding of mature situations and the actual conduct of sexual activity in itself, because obviously we know that not everybody that wears a condom necessarily has AIDS. It's meant not only to protect from diseases, but also to protect from unwanted pregnancies as well. So this to me does not illustrate that children want to be sexual or that they're all about it. That's just a bad take.
They're pretty hot. And you can say whatever you want about me. It's not my fault. I didn't make them do that. They did that.
If I actually believed the things that you were saying right now, I would have to say that's entirely your fault. That's not on them. They're not hot. Again, they're just kids, albeit kids that are dressed in a way that I personally have never seen any 11-year-old dressed ever. Then again, I'm not out looking for 11-year-olds. Are you?
That's the point. That's the whole point of the movie, is that you're supposed to be sitting there thinking, look at the blonde one. You're supposed to be sitting there holding these two thoughts in your head, and one that these are kids and the other that they're hot. I don't even know if you're supposed to be comfortable with that.
You're not supposed to be comfortable with that, and that's not the point either. You're not supposed to be sitting there looking at them longingly.
It's more like you're just supposed to be informed that you are capable of that and that you feel that way. And I already knew that, but I think it's a good thing to put that out there. Artistically, I think it's a good thing. Now, is it exploitative? Yes, definitely. These kids are 11, so they don't really understand what they're doing.
Finally, one thing for certain that we can agree on: they don't know what they're doing. And this is exactly how grooming takes place. This is exactly how children continue to be exploited, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's normal. They don't know what should be happening versus what shouldn't be happening. There's no true sense of right or wrong.
Should parents allow their children to be in films like this? I don't know. I kept thinking about, if I had a daughter, whether I would let her be in this movie. Because like child actors, most of their parents are pushing them to do it. So I don't know. Like, if you have a daughter who's 11 and likes doing sexy TikTok dances where she's shaking her ass all the time, and then some well-meaning and I assume not creepy filmmaker comes along and they're like, I'd like to pay your daughter to shake her ass. I guess I would say yes, but I would say it with the knowledge that she's going to be really pissed off about it later, and that we'd probably have a lot to talk about. It would not be a comfortable yes.
If it would not be a comfortable yes, then why do it? Why even make this statement? It seems completely unnecessary. If you as the parent would lack comfort in agreeing to let your child go and shake their ass, as you put it, then it's a no. Simple. It's a no. It should never be a yes. Unless you're trying to live vicariously through your child, which some parents do. We see it on almost every platform in existence. We could talk all day about YouTube and how kids have been exploited for the financial gain of their parents. It's one of the main reasons why I refuse to have any of my children in my content, for the main reason of their own protection, and the other reason of keeping them from being exploited for financial purposes.
We already sexualize children. When we tell a child that they're cute, we are telling them that they're attractive. And attractiveness is only one thing. It's sex. Attractiveness leads to sex.
It's probably going to be the last major point that I want to make, but telling a child that they're cute does not necessarily represent sexual attraction. It represents telling a child that they're cute could mean that they have a personality that's likable. It means that they are pleasant to be around. It doesn't necessarily mean sexual attraction or that you want to crawl on the bed with them. This is just a disgusting thing to say, and once again, leaning into the very elaborate troll, playing devil's advocate for the sake of getting a rise out of people, and we can see that that's fairly obvious by the way that you got ratioed.
We're more okay with an 11-year-old girl doing drugs or stealing or hurting somebody than we are with her taking a picture of her vagina and posting it on the internet, which could lead to something harmful, but in and of itself is not really doing anything too bad to anybody. I guess it's embarrassing, but why?
At what point did anyone ever say that we're more okay with an 11-year-old child doing drugs or stealing or robbing someone versus taking pictures of their genitalia and uploading it to social media? And why that should be embarrassing? Because this is a child. I don't feel like I should have to say that. I'm not okay with anyone. I'm not okay with children doing drugs and stealing and doing hood rat stuff with their friends. I'm not okay with any of that. I'm not okay with this movie. I'm not okay with the things that you said, regardless of whether you're trolling or not. If this was for the sake of comedy, it wasn't funny. Anyways, there are other things that he said throughout the video that could be agreed with when it pertains specifically to the overall story. You guys already know my take on this. That's really all I have to say. I just wanted to kind of respond to this because I felt like I couldn't not say something. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing down below. Click that notification bell so that you get notifications every time I post new content to the channel. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you disliked it. And I will catch you guys in the next video.
Sorry, I feel no attraction and now that it's been a bit. 'Cause I've been so long, so long.